The first thing you might notice about Gustavo Dudamel is the joy. The exuberance, the passion, the energy with which he conducts. The hair bounces, the arms fly. He is a man possessed, conducting Beethoven, but doing a ballet. When you're conducting, you look like you're utterly transported. Can you describe what's going through your mind?
It depends about how I feel. You know, you can make different pictures of what is happening, but always is different.
Gustavo doesn't rely only on his hands to let the orchestra know how he wants them to play. He tells the musicians what he wants them to feel.
But this is like, you know, it's beautiful, but it's like you are telling something like, you know, I love you. I want to kiss you. Hey, I'm loved. No. It's something like you are here very close and you say, I love you. And she will be, ooh, yes. Da-da-da. We are speaking to her or to him, whatever, really normal. And we need to convince her to go to the church.
Gustavo exploded onto the international stage in 2004 with a lot less hair, but just as much energy. He was one of the youngest people invited to compete for the Mahler Prize, the world's most prestigious competition for young conductors. And he won. One of the judges was the LA Philharmonic's conductor, who after seeing Gustavo called Los Angeles to talk to his boss, Deborah Borda.
He said, well, actually, I just saw the most amazing young conductor. He's a 24-year-old Venezuelan kid. He barely speaks English. And Deborah, he's a real conducting animal.
A conducting animal.
A conducting animal.
It was the beginning of a global phenomenon known as Dudamel mania. Newspapers and magazines started covering his every move. A German company signed a recording contract with him. He was sought after to conduct orchestras around the world. Even the Pope commanded a performance. But the music world was stunned when the Los Angeles Philharmonic hired him to be its next music director.
I think that the atmosphere exists here for him to really change musical history.
Change musical history?
Gustavo has an ability to communicate what is passionate and vital about music in a very 21st century way.
What is home for you these days? Is it still Venezuela or is it a hotel room?
Airplane. Is the airplane.
You're recording for Deutsche Grammophon. Where do you have time to do all this?
When you love something, you have time. You have a lot of time.
Time for the trappings of classical music, too. The cocktail parties.
Oh, my God. Now I'm nervous.
The canapes.
Without the sauce.
The receptions without end. This is where the little maestro has to perform. What he does on the podium comes naturally. Lucerne, Switzerland, home to the world's most revered orchestra festival.
This is really beautiful.
Gustavo was in town with his wife Eloisa to conduct the Vienna Philharmonic. In between rehearsals, he cloistered himself in his hotel room, studying the score for one of the biggest performances, well, of his life. Is this the first time you're conducting the Vienna Philharmonic?
It's my first time in real version of the orchestra. I was conducting when I was a kid.
In your imagination?
In my imagination, yes. I remember when I was 6 years old, I was conducting all these concerts in my house. But now it's real.
These notes, we need to have really, really, really heavy, short and fortissimo.
Every conductor knows what he wants from an orchestra, and it's his job to get it. So here was this kid from Venezuela telling musicians from the venerated Vienna Philharmonic, many of whom were old enough to be his grandparents, that what he wanted from them was blood.
It's good, this, but the blood is not coming. You know, you are killing really wild. But it's without blood. The blood needs to be in your face. Now we have blood.
The performance was a triumph. It brought even the taciturn Swiss to their feet.
Thank you. Vodka.
When it was over, the wunderkind was drained.
No vodka. It's water. It was a big party. I feel very happy. I have more energy now.
The party continued in Gustavo's dressing room with Daniel Barenboim, the celebrated conductor and piano virtuoso, and one of Gustavo's most important mentors. Barenboim had advice for his protege.
Give it up. Become a shoemaker, a carpenter, a plumber, but don't conduct.
Were you nervous for him?
No. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he wants, and he knows how to get it. What more can you say? I hope America doesn't spoil him.
Barquisimeto, Venezuela, 3,500 miles and several worlds away from Los Angeles. That's where Gustavo was born and raised. His father played trombone in a salsa band. Did you consider playing the trombone?
Absolutely, but my arm was too short, you know, and was very sad. And then I started to study violin. Crazy.
Gustavo was still studying the violin when we first met him 8 years ago. But he was beginning to switch to conducting. He was a little nervous, he admits, but he had a steady hand. He was in a music program which is a Venezuelan innovation. It is called El Sistema, the system, and it takes children, 250,000 children, almost all from poor neighborhoods, and teaches them how to play instruments. This has led to hundreds of youth orchestras sprouting up all over the country. But El Sistema is less a music program than a profound social movement that takes kids off the streets, takes them away from crime and drugs and despair.
The music saved me. I'm sure of this. With all these bad things around you, you are exposed to these things very close. The music gave me a way to be far, far away of these things.
When he's in his hometown of Barquisimeto, where does he hang out? With one of the orchestras he's been conducting for the last decade. Here was the conducting animal, back in his natural habitat, the Venezuelan system of youth orchestras. The best musicians from the system make up the Simón Bolívar National Youth Orchestra. They were preparing for their first American tour. They're all under 25 years old. The first stop on the tour was Disney Hall in Los Angeles.
This is wonderful.
This stage becomes his when he takes over the LA Philharmonic in 2009. But much of his work, he told us, will be off stage.
Now we will start a project with the young people from the poor communities here in LA.